there may be a supply shock coming soon. Bank of America thinks that this year will be the price divergence year for crypto. So what does that mean? What does that mean? Well, we know that there's a lot of niches, however you pronounce that. I like saying niches, but people like saying niche. We have a lot of categories, a lot of segments, right? We have the store values like Bitcoin, but we also have utility coins. We also have like payment coins. We also have stable coins. I mean, there's a lot of categories, but also if you break it down, there are subcategories, like if these tokens are used for, let's say, gaming or metaverse or DeFi. I mean, there's a lot of projects out there. And according to Bank of America, they think that the ones powering the chains, such as like Ethereum and Avalanche and Cosmos and Solana and Cardano, these are the ones that will stand out because they have the most utility. And then they actually said versus, like, say, the meme coins, which have no utility, according to Bank of America. Now, when we do go into a bull market, meme coins will go up, regardless if they have utility or not. But they will move up along with everything else. But overall, I do agree. This is why I love L1 projects, L2 projects. To me, they're the most fascinating because they're the base protocol, the network protocol, the operating system, so to speak, for these new age dApps. They're very important. And Bank of America believes this year will separate these categories or niches. And we'll see. It kind of started already. We have noticed, like, AI had a boom, right? And then kind of came back down. Metaverses and games started coming up again. Now we're seeing like L2s come up. We've seen some DeFi come up as well, right? We're starting to see a little separation there. But overall, it all depends on the big boy Bitcoin. Here's a good chart comparing the U.S. tech stocks, which, had a little rally, but now has since then come down a little bit. You have Bitcoin, which had a pretty good rally, still holding much higher than tech stocks. And then you have the Chinese stocks, which also has been going up and holding much better. And we know China is trying to open up and, improve their economy as well, right? So that's kind of like what it looks like right now. You could see right around the beginning of the year, all three went up and we all had a good rally. But now it's at that point where, like I said, in the U.S., these fund managers and analysts, they don't quite know what to expect from Powell, so things have come back down a little bit. Bitcoin is still holding very well, but Chinese stocks continue to hold very well. Looks like wants to continue. Kind of a good broad overview of what's happening right now. But, this is all short term, right? This is short term macro stuff. But long term, we know the one that will dominate all three here, of course, is Bitcoin. It's not even close. If you zoom out to 5 years, 10 years, not even close. And will always be like that going forward. But, which brings me to the main topic, the supply. Ethereum and Bitcoin supply on exchanges, 5-year low. Is it bullish with a question mark? Of course it is. Of course it is. When you have the supply dropping, okay, that means there's just less of it to go around. Demand, we know, is still doing this. Just like my thumbnail. Demand is going up. Supply is going down. Right? I just noticed my camera's cutting this off here. Let me remove my camera here. And, when that happens, price goes up. Right? It may not happen right away since there are still plenty of Bitcoin out there on the exchanges. But over time, as Bitcoin supply continues to drop, and demand continues to explode upwards because of worldwide adoption, you know what's going to happen, right? It's just supply and demand. It's just, that's how prices is dictated, right? And that's exactly what's happening right now. You have a lot of retail investors like you and I, average Joes. You have a lot of whales. You have a lot of institutions, a lot of companies that are just buying and hoarding Bitcoin for the future, more and more of it. I saw this story, Block, you guys know, Block used to be Square, right? They say they hold $130 million worth of Bitcoin, and Jack Dorsey is still the CEO. 130 million, that's what they say, but it's actually, I think it's more, because according to this Bitcoin Treasuries, this has them pegged at 190 million, so give or take a few million. But my point is this, I mean, this is just looking at companies that hold Bitcoin, and you have so many that have come into the space just within the last few years alone. Imagine in the future how many more will come into space. And when they buy Bitcoin, they don't buy like 1 or 10. They buy thousands to tens of thousands. And I'm sure if BlackRock actually disclosed how much they own, it'll probably be up there too. There's a lot that haven't disclosed. These are just companies that have disclosed. Like the BlackRocks of the world, Fidelities of the world, Soros of the world. They could have tens of thousands or hundreds of thousands of Bitcoin already. We don't know because they don't want to disclose that. But you know, it just goes to show you the supply is dropping because it's not just like made up. I think a lot of people just think, oh, it's just made up. These are all like nonsense on-chain metrics. No. When you have a single company like MicroStrategy hold 132,000 Bitcoin, that makes you think, that's quite a lot. And Galaxy Digital holding 40,000, even Voyager 12,000. I know they're bankrupt, but still, they had 12,000 Bitcoins. I don't know where that went, but that's a lot. Tesla, even though they sold off most of their Bitcoin, they still control 10,000 plus Bitcoin, 250 million worth. And then you have Coinbase, you have Hut 8, Marathon, Block, and then it goes on, right? And that doesn't even include the trust also. The trust, the ETFs that's around the world. Let's not forget Grayscale Trust at 640,000 Bitcoins. And then all these other ones like Purpose ETF at 25,000, CoinShares at 48,000. I mean, come on. You add all this up, this is a huge number taken away from circulation, right? I mean, and it's only going to grow. This number is only going to grow. So the supply shock is going to come. We're starting to see a little bit of it, but when it's in full force, that's what you need to get ready, because Bitcoin will be skyrocketing then and could be, right, coming as soon as 2024, right before the halving event, and then certainly right after the halving event, leading into 2025. That's when we could see Bitcoin push through its previous high and form a crazy new high. Who knows how high it could be? 200,000, 250,000, maybe even higher, right? And of course, the fundamentals still support that. It's not just a halving event, right? Bitcoin itself is just growing by leaps and bounds. The Lightning Network hits an all-time high for liquidity. It continues to get bigger, basically giving another use for Bitcoin, being a money transfer, being a payment rail, one that's very effective. You could use it without a Lightning Network, but with the Lightning Network, Bitcoin becomes the greatest, payment network on earth, because now you can send Bitcoin anywhere, basically feeless and instantaneously, without any middleman telling you whether you could do that or not, or asking you for KYC information, or blocking your transaction. Can't be done. That's how amazing Bitcoin is and its network. The hash rate continues to go up, again, at an all-time high, right? And of course, we are still following the same fractal patterns as before, previous bottoms that we have seen, right? Breaking out of these trend lines and then breaking out of moving averages. And if you look at where we are right now, looks very, very similar to the previous breakouts from 2018, 2020, and I've shown many others comparing to even 2015, right? All very similar. Good stuff. Very, very good stuff.